We start day 2/3 in Paris at Hotel Les Invalides, a former hospital and retirement home for French soldiers, constructed by Louis XIV, the Sun King, same guy who built Versailles. Today it houses the French Army Museum, so we get to learn about the French military. I've been here before when I was in 6th grade, and it spawned a running joke in my family because the exhibit on D-Day reads, "The French, aided by the Americans, took back Normandy Beach." Don't know if it still says that or not, but I'm looking forward to it, if it still does. And you'll note, like many of the buildings here in France, in Paris in particular, it is under construction. I think the French government thought that COVID was a great time to do some much needed repairs on these buildings before restrictions end and the tourists come back. So off we go. One thing French museums never lack is an abundance of exhibits. Once again, I'm just like walking through here. I'm in the Napoleon era, which is my favorite era, but it's like we've been in this museum for 4 hours. Still going, still more to see. It's amazing. Being in general means getting the coolest hats. In this giant domed building is the tomb of Napoleon. He was interred here in 1840. It's a big state ceremony. I'm quite excited to see it's a big casket. Looks like a giant chest, if I recall correctly, so off we go. We got Joseph Napoleon's tomb. You have to agree, this chapel is pretty amazing. Let's go to the main dome here. Look at that, huh? And there in the middle, Napoleon's tomb. There are a number of people buried here. In addition to Napoleon, I believe they're all... Well, he wouldn't have been an associate of him, so I don't know, just people of note. He was a general in Morocco. And some more Napoleons. Jerome Napoleon, who was governor of Les Invalides. And there he is, one of the greatest generals in the history of the world. Him, Caesar, Alexander the Great. These are the names we think about when we think of military genius. And that was Hotel Les Invalides. Definitely worth a visit. One last little look at it here. Now we're heading off to the Arc de Triomphe to go up to the top, get a nice view of the Champs-Élysées. Maybe stop, do a little shopping, since, you know, when in Paris. Yeah, it's turning into a really beautiful day again. A little chilly this morning, but quite warm now, so loving it. And we're back at the Seine. Because how can you go anywhere in Paris without running into the Seine? It's impossible. It's Tour Eiffel, and the Grand Palace over here. But that is not where we're heading. No, we're going for the Arc de Triomphe, which is still quite a distance away. We're now on probably the most famous street in the world, Champs-Élysées. All the way down there's Arc de Triomphe. I don't know if it shows up that well on this camera or not, but it's pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of the walk down to Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. And after a little stop off at McDonald's to replenish the energy, we've made it all the way to the Arc de Triomphe. It's pretty spectacular, honestly. It's probably one of my favorite monuments. So to get there, got to go down, then back up, which we will do. And just like that, we're in. Boom. Gonna look at this. Got a tomb of the unknown soldier, which I'm pretty sure we copied in the US at Arlington National. It's cool, and my mom made the same comment, so I'm going to steal her words, but it's like, it's a right-sized arch to be impressive without being too gaudy or anything. That's just really beautiful. I actually think, this is my personal opinion, it may be crazy, but I prefer this to the Eiffel Tower. And we're off. Got a long way to go. And we're at the top. It's a bit of a tiring climb, but boy, is this view worth it. Let's get a look at this. I mean, come on, look at that. There's the Champs-Élysées road we were just on. Tour Eiffel over there. I'm like having a heart attack holding my camera here. I mean, just c'est magnifique. Downtown Paris, out in the distance. So I believe the Gold Dome building there is Hotel Les Invalides. This is, it's quite cool. Actually, I cannot overstate how epic the cityscape is here. Oh, there's, well, in the distance, Sacré-Cœur in the Montmartre area. We're gonna go there, I think tomorrow, the next day. And that was the Arc de Triomphe, probably the second most famous landmark in all of Paris. And it is just a beauty. Well, we got a sandwich and a drink. I was gonna head to the Champ de Mars, but found this great view of the Eiffel Tower from a bridge. Oh, this is that lock bridge, I think. Or it's put the locks of their love there. Fantastic. Well, I'll certainly be filming more when I go up here on Thursday, but thought I'd get a little footage right now. I had not realized how big this was. Though the Eiffel Tower is, of course, the most famous symbol of Paris, the area in front of it is actually more historically relevant. This grassy field, called the Champ de Mars, bore witness to many of the great revolutionary moments during the French Revolution. In 1789, it hosted the first Feast of the Federation, where the king was applauded for becoming a constitutional monarch instead of a absolute monarch. The year after, it was the home to the massacre on the Champ de Mars, where the mayor of Paris, forget his first name, last name Bailly, had to stop an angry mob, ended up killing some of them. And then later, it hosted the Festival of the Supreme Being, a new cult of reason created by the Jacobins and Robespierre specifically. So this area has seen a lot of important French history.